Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome everyone. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري ويشرك في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome once more. And now we would like to hear what Anne has prepared for us to remind us what we have been doing and where we are coming from and where we are going to. Inshallah, we will hear her
Inshallah.
summary of the last week and introduction to this week.
Inshallah. Okay. So this is more than just the actual supplication of Jonah. Peace and blessings be upon him. And it's not the story of the narrative of Jonah per se, but it's about the details of his supplication and how we can apply this to our daily life, which is the purpose of this class. So not to repeat too much from last week, but overall, we talked about how the supplications of all the prophets mentioned in the Quran were disclosures of our reality. So, in other words, it's an expression of my reality in the form of a supplication. It's a confession, in fact, in which we confess that we forgot to put our faith in God. So Jonah's situation was described, and what Nursi is doing is saying that now we are in a situation 100 times more awesome or almost dangerous in a way than Jonah's. So he uses this powerful symbolism, three actually all together, one on top of the other, in which the night that Jonah is in, darker than dark, represents our future. When we're neglectful, because then it becomes unknown. And the sea is a spinning globe with each wave bearing on it thousands of corpses, which represent our the continuous death every day of our being. Every day we experience some kind of version of death, and the following day we are resurrected again, or we're a different person, a new person. So the waves are bearing corpses of essentially death. And the fish represents the caprices of our soul or our egoistic tendencies. And I love the way Nursi says the caprices strive to shake and destroy the foundation of our eternal life. And it's important to understand that this fish, the fish of our soul, is 1,000 times more malicious than Jonah's, because while his fish could destroy his 100-year lifespan, in other words, his fish could destroy Jonah's eternal life. Ours destroy lives lasting millions of years. In other words, Jonah's body was in the fish, and that bodily destruction was his lifespan, but our bodies seek to destroy life of hundreds of millions of people by destroying our eternal existence, the potential of our eternal existence or our permanent happiness. I don't know if I made that clear, but the caprices of our soul prevent us from eternal happiness. And so we're inside or captured inside this fish forever. We'll never see eternal happiness. And this is our true state. We need to recognize it, and we need to recognize it sooner rather than later, that our reality is we can only put our faith in God, and we need to invoke Jonah's supplication. La ilaha illa ante subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. Always. Don't forget to invoke that. Otherwise, we become in a situation 100 times more awesome than Jonah's. And that's where we left off last week.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Just recently, I heard from a friend narrating sayings or complaints of a philosopher talking about this reality that, as we mentioned here, every moment we are experiencing continuous death of our being. He said exactly that is how human senses are expected to realize if we take our existence seriously. He said, how would you expect me to be happy? I am continuously experiencing death of my existence, in my existence. I cannot stop it. And he complained, how would you expect me to be happy with my life? We understand that really, if we don't realize who is operating in our existence, first of all, who is giving our existence, providing us with this existence, definitely we would be thinking in the same way this poor, wretched philosopher. Now, how can we be happy in this world? I'm continuously experiencing death of my being. And at the end, the last experience will be end of my existence. Of course, the Quran's suggestion is when we look at the creation, we understand that that is not a joke. The existence is not a joke. Existence is not a playground here. It is so perfect, so meaningful in the existence of everything we experience, really what the reality can be driven, can be understood from the way the things are created. Yes, there are two ways of seeing our existence. One way is I cannot be happy since I continues the experience of death. The other one is, how can I be not happy since I continuously experiencing the refreshment of my existence in a new and a wonderful form? And at the end, I will be a candidate to get out of this temporary body and experience the permanent existence provided by the one who gives continuously, renews my existence continuously, and through renewing my existence continuously, he is introducing to me that, look, your body is my production. I can operate on it in any way I like, and I am continuously renewing it and letting you know that this renovation of your existence can only be realized by the one who is the creator of the universe, the source of existence of the universe, introducing himself to me with innumerable examples of creation, acts of creation in the existence of each being we experience who is operating on this universe. Everything is totally interconnected with each other. Nothing can be independently examined and understood. Everything is strongly, intricately tied up with each other in the universe that nothing can act on its own choice. That is the reality of the universe. Only the one who is giving existence and operating, maintaining its existence, operating and maintaining its existence, can have the absolute freedom of creation and absolute qualities who are manifested in the universe. So that was a new things. I haven't read the book or any source, but I heard a friend in one of the discussions quoted this saying, and how the people who cannot realize what can be the source of existence of the whole universe are in a desperate, meaningless, wretched position and experiencing these sufferings of meaninglessness and not being happy at all, pain of meaningless existence. So we are learning here in this section what the Quran presents to us and how the universe witnesses the truthfulness of this presentation. So we understand that the Quran is the speech of the one who creates the universe. It explains it, how we should utilize it. So I had written some notes here before we ask Anne to read the text. I can read, or Anne, would you like to read my note here just to remember, refresh
sure.
what we are doing, and then continue to read the first paragraph?
Sure. Let's remember once more. The example of the prophet Jonah describes our spiritual needs and who can satisfy them. Not a physical source of satisfaction. It is a description showing how we should communicate with the creation and conclude about how we should have an understanding that will satisfy my mind and heart. So to continue with Nursi's text.
Yeah, now let's continue now we remember that what we are doing, why we are reading this text. Now here we are. Yeah, we can start, inshallah.
Mhm.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Just,
Bismillah. What
yeah.
cause is there other than the creator of the heavens and earth, who can know the most subtle and secret thoughts of our heart? Who can lighten the future for us by establishing the hereafter? And who can save us from the myriad overwhelming waves of the world? No, outside that necessary existent one, there is nothing that can in any way give aid and effect salvation except by his consent and command.
Yeah. So would you like would anybody like to make comment on this and what we understood from it and how we should apply this to our life? Anything to share? No. So why not says here, we cannot find anything in the universe that can recognize and so can satisfy my human expectation. We have to look. We have to see. Now, human expectations. I can benefit from what is existing out there in order to satisfy my bodily needs, but not for my spiritual, human experience, expectations. So the one can only can satisfy my spiritual satisfaction. The expectations of my feelings must first of all know my feelings. Do you think matter can know my feelings and respond back? Do they have consciousness, etc., knowledge or compassion so that they will say, this person wants this, let me provide for it? Do they have any ability, capacity to know my most subtle, the secret thoughts of my heart, which means my feelings? We know that our feelings look for eternal satisfaction. There is nothing in this world eternal. Everything is continuously being changed, and they cannot stop their change. They have no other option other than how they are given existence within the context of the universe. So we have to understand that only, as you said, as the text says, the necessarily existent one, who is the source of existence of this universe, that we conclude that he, such a being, must exist. Who is the source of the existence of my body, my feelings, and arranged everything and located me within in a perfect position within the whole context of the universe. So I cannot get out of this context, although I seem to have some freedom. I cannot change my existence. I cannot satisfy myself, my desires of my feelings and heart by obtaining material beings themselves, but only as my spirit, my feelings to my body. The universe's body also has its own spirit, must have. This spirit is manifesting itself in the form of meaning, ingrained in the existence of each and every being of the universe. So when we look at the universe, we can understand each being can only exist by a one who holds, controls, manages, gives existence, changes continuously its existence. The one who does this must be the one who is the source of existence. This is called, beautifully in a summary, the necessarily existent one. To my understanding, it makes sense. And he is the creator of my feelings. He must be the creator of my feelings. Therefore, I can expect the satisfaction from their creator, my feelings creator, who gave me this desire, and I can expect him to satisfy it. As material I am experiencing in my bodily life here, he gives some needs that, for example, creating my lungs, I need air. And since my lungs are created in such a way that I need always continuously air provided for me, here I am. I find myself in an atmosphere covered anywhere I can go. So it is a physical, simple to understand in terms of physical experience of my existence, that he is the one who created me, this necessarily existent one is the one who created me with this need of air, is providing it and demonstrating that, look, I know what I am doing. I'm a conscious being. So I know that I created within you all these desires which really yearn for eternal satisfaction. And in this type of satisfaction, there is no eternity. Everything is transient as you experience it. I am just signaling you out that I am the one only who can respond to your secret, subtle thoughts of your feelings, your heart. Heart represents the feelings. So the feelings of our spiritual side, not material side, is physically demonstrated that the one who created me is satisfying it. But how about my thoughts of expectations of my heart? They also they are created with the need. We have to be careful about this point. The need that we are given is a promise from its creator that he is going to satisfy it. Simple example, my spirit, my feelings desire to see. Look, I is created, provided, satisfied by the one who created this need. Even the simplest example, when I am created with the stomach needs from time to time to fill in. So I feel hungry, and my body reminds me created in such a way that I am created in such a way that my body reminds me that you need to eat something. Here is the food. Millions of different kinds of food are created for us to eat. Physically, we are experiencing it. Hunger is the promise of its creator that food is going to be provided. In this way, in this world, in this creation, all my bodily needs are provided and satisfied and every promise is kept. How about for example, intellectual needs? I need to be meaningful. It is also provided, huh? By creating the universe in a meaningful way. I need to be living in this world with a satisfaction that my existence is meaningful. What I have been doing in this world is meaningful. By creating the universe, this promise of need is provided by creating the universe in the best, the most meaningful way. Everything is purposefully designed, created, arranged, so that my intellect says, the one who created this universe has created in a meaningful way, introducing himself to me through manifesting his qualities that through my intellect, I can understand, I can perceive the meaning from that. But when it comes to our spiritual needs of eternal satisfaction of my spirit, it is not provided. The answer is not provided. But the need itself is a promise. And we hear from the Creator that I am the one who made this promise to you by creating the need in your feelings. I am the one who is going to fulfill it. If only you recognize and present your need to me, I promise I will definitely satisfy you. In his verbal explanation, we say, yes, that's what I have been expecting through my experience of my life in this world. So I confirm this message, I accept it, and turn my needs of eternal satisfaction, desires of my heart to him. Only you can satisfy my needs. Here we learn from this verse. Let's go to the beginning now. فنادى في الظلمات. Now, there is now. Oh, the beginning is interesting. Why did I miss the beginning? There is no God other than God. No, فنادى في الظلمات. The translation is me then. He, okay. Huh, right.
You're as bad as I am.
Now, he cried out in the darkness. Now, is it okay now?
I think it was darkness darker than dark. I don't know. It's fine.
Now, Sulumat, in these, how do you say, layers of, sorry, yeah,
Yeah, layers of darkness. That's good.
layers of darkness.
Mm.
Oh, the Zulumat is plural. Now, what did he say? Now, what the layers of darkness is? The example I heard and narrated and shared with you, the philosopher, was experiencing in his life. Layers of darkness. How can you expect me? It was a really one of the best examples of human despair when they not realize the source of existence of their everyday being. So if someone forgets about the creation, his original creation, the way his existence is continuously renewed, he falls into despair of the layers of darkness. Layers of darknesses. I think we make it plural this. Now, so that this person is suffering from a hopelessness, from despair for his future. And really, he is experiencing the pain of hell before he goes to hell if he insists there. Because why this person deserves the punishment? Because he looked at the loss of his existence. He didn't look at the way his existence is continuously refreshed, renewed. So if someone doesn't pay attention to the way that he or she is brought into this world, who gave me this existence? Now, if someone doesn't pay attention to the existence and concentrate his own existence in this world and concentrates on the death side of it, he cannot really understand the meaning of death, meaning in the creation of death. He cannot understand it. No way. That is why if someone looks at the dark side rather than the bright side, he is bound to experience pain. Now, this person will be asked, let's imagine a scenario now. Did you not experience your existence? Why did you think that the one who gives continuously a new existence to you, let your existence change by taking one, replacing it with another one? How many times? You cannot count it because it is uncountable. There is no break in existence. There is no gap in existence. You cannot really say the 1, 2, 3, 3. No. Endlessly renewed our existence. So you didn't think about the way you are given existence and just took the wrong side, saying that somebody is really continuously dropping you in non-existence. But you still exist. Even while you are complaining about it, you still exist. I mean, I gave you the intelligence which has the capacity to understand there is a message there. Somebody is signaling you that, look, I am the one who is the absolute one who can renew your existence forever. Why don't you just realize this and accept that your existence is given to you freely and being continuously refreshed, renewed freely, and you have to be thankful for it. Express your thankfulness to him. So that is why if someone cannot realize or doesn't want to realize is the best one, chooses not to realize who is giving me my existence, he finds himself in these layers of darknesses. Layers of darknesses. I mean, we cannot read it, this Jonah's story as something physical description of an event. It is that it doesn't make sense. So we talked about it a lot. And if someone is really thrown in the sea and swallowed up by a fish, this person cannot live anyways. So it's a way of really figure of speech, making an really example for us presenting an analogy for us that we can say, I will understand that darkness represents, for example, my hopelessness if I don't realize and accept my creator, a conscious creator. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. When to read these verses of the Quran in this way really excites me, Alhamdulillah, so that I will be very happy. So let's listen to our friend H. Beza. Buyurun.
Assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to share a thought that I had, which was, I wonder if at the heart of this, what the text is also highlighting is, at least one main point is the human desire for wanting to be secure in everything that they do. And oftentimes, the way that this desire or need manifests itself in our lives is that we try to take control over the different factors of our lives. We want something to, whatever it is that we're working on or doing or planning, we want it to be meticulously working out in the way that we want it because we think that that is the best way for it to work out for me. And I feel like in the case of Jonah, with the layers of darkness, that represents, or can, one of the representation can also be every single time that I strive to have something turn out in the way that I want it because I pass the judgment that this is the best way it ought to be, then I fall into darkness when it doesn't end up being that way because I realize I'm in fact helpless. And so I think very fundamental here for me at least is redefining or rewording the need for the need for control as a desire for security, a need for security, in fact. So it doesn't, I don't have to necessarily be in control. In fact, being in control makes me very, very exhausted. But if I am secure that you know, the darkness, the fish, the ocean, all of these different factors are in fact outside of my control, and I acknowledge that, but they are also within the control of the one who has placed me in this particular situation. And not only that, because I don't want it to be a malicious creator who's putting me into a painful situation, but rather that this situation is leading me somewhere that I can find what it is that I'm looking for, which is in fact security, or being able to confirm that I am not left to my own devices, that I am in good hands, that I am secure, that I am taken care of, that everything will be okay, that it's not happening by itself or haphazardly, or just because of somebody felt this way or something like that. So I think 2 points for me to summarize my thoughts. Two main points. One is redefining or rewording the desire for control as a need for security. So I don't have to be the one in control, but I do have an absolute need and desire to feel like everything is under control, right? Everything is being secured for me. And then secondly, the situation that puts me in the belly of the whale in a very dark, dark, dark place is not there to harm me. It's there to, in fact, make me recognize my position as an abd, as a worshiper, and to ask from my creator, knowing very well that that everything is happening within his will, within his control, and a merciful way, and I'm being led somewhere that is good for me, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. So very well explained. I don't have to repeat it. If someone looks for the satisfaction by putting his egocentric considerations, I must satisfy myself, he fails. He definitely fails. But this is a beautiful failure, very useful failing. Why? Only through this failing that we understand, even as a conscious being, I cannot really provide any source of satisfaction for my spiritual needs. How about this unconscious dead matter can do it? So we can easily get out of this desperate situation, meaningless understanding, and look for the source of the satisfaction, who is the one who created my feelings. So nothing in the universe can know my feelings, my needs, and nothing in the universe can satisfy it. I don't know whether I could really summarize what I understood from what you said. Now, shall we read one more paragraph and see?
Yes,
Thank you. It was beautiful comment, wasn't it? I really loved it.
me too. Thank you, Khadija. Okay, Bismillah. This being the case, consider that as a result of his supplication, the whale became for Jonah a vehicle or a submarine, and the sea a peaceable plain, and the night became gently lit for him by the moon. So too should we should make the same supplication. There is no God but you. Glory be unto you. Indeed, I was among the wrongdoers.
Yeah. Any comment on it from anyone?
Well, I just love the way that those obstacles, the all the constraints that were united against Jonah and all had to be subdued at the same time could only be done with this one supplication. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Of course, we all know that the such supplication is the expression of one's realization. Putting in words, there is no God but you, glory be unto you. When you realize that, I cannot find the source of satisfaction in this world, but the one who created this universe can satisfy me. So I was wrong looking for the satisfaction, as Ashbeza said, to satisfy by myself or find out another part from the universe that it can satisfy me. That was a wrong attitude. Come on, leave it behind. Or let's listen to our beloved friend Colin Turner, and we welcome him.
Assalamu alaikum. It's nice to be here. I don't know how much of this you've done, but every treatise I read in risale becomes my favorite, and this is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It makes me realize more than anything else, actually, that Quran is speaking to me directly when I read it. It's not a storybook. It's talking to me absolutely directly, and it's addressing my current situation. And when the author says that when he wrote this treatise, our position was 100 times worse, we have to bear in mind that was 100 years ago. I think I could safely say now that our position is 1,000 times worse, because if you think about Yunus alayhi salam, this whole story is an indictment of this cultish belief we have in causality. And that is the underpinnings of materialism. And we have been educated through the secularization, not just of society, but also the secularization of the cosmos, into trusting things which cannot give what we think they promise. We're looking, as Ali said, at a world which is full of beings which, from one perspective, are deaf, dumb, and unconscious, and yet we expect things from them because we are too egoistic or arrogant to attribute the names that we attribute to these things to their creator. Because if you do that, then you are responsible. You have a responsibility. So we trust, as Yunus alayhi salam did. Yunus actually ran away from his duty because he expected the people that he preached to be punished, which is, in a sense, a kind of causal attitude. It was a mistake. It wasn't a sin. He was a prophet, but it was a mistake. But as Ali said, it was a happy mistake. It was a felix culpa, because it led to him learning something extremely important. But he expected, because he'd preached, and he was used to God punishing those communities who didn't adhere to the message of the preachers, but it didn't happen in this case, and he sort of expected things to run as they always run. In other words, there was a kind of trust on causes there, and when it didn't happen, he felt affronted, and Quran, I think, describes him as molim, or blameworthy. And of course, he was a prophet. This was a mistake. It was a happy mistake. But our position is exactly the same. We trust in things which can't deliver what we think they promise. And we try, because we have desires and we have subtle faculties that can embrace infinity, can embrace the whole of creation, past, present, and future. We have desires that really cannot be fulfilled in this world. And this is why, like Ali's philosopher, who is banging his head against the wall, I want eternity. That's what he's saying tacitly. I want eternity, but I can't find it in this world. Nothing can give me what I need, I really need. And we get these indications and intimations all the time. We are constantly changing. Everything's constantly changing. We're being reminded of death and resurrection the whole time, in the change of the seasons, through sleep, day and night. All of the time, Allah is saying, this is not your destination. This is just your way station. This is just your stop. You have another destination where all of these desires that you really can't satisfy in this world will be satisfied. But we ignore it. We try to derive the infinite from the finite. We try to derive the absolute from the limited. We try to derive the eternal from the temporal. And then we wonder why we have these existential crises. I think this is what the whole story of Yunus, for me at least, me personally, that's what it's saying to me. Because I also have expectations which I shouldn't have. I also trust things which really can't be trusted. And I bang my head against the wall, and I complain when it doesn't turn out how I want it to turn out, because it's not in the hands of the material causes. So I always, as I said, I don't know how much you've done of this, but it always reminds me of this sort of morass that we're in, these triple darknesses that we're in, as a result of our basically worship of material causes. Sorry, I said I didn't mean to say that much.
That's what our reality is. You shouldn't be sorry. As H. Beza said earlier on, I'm commenting on your comment. I'm just saying H. Beza said, when we trust our ego that we can satisfy ourselves, we have to fail. That's the mercy of God. When we look at the, as Colin explained, when we look at the from matter and expect from matter to satisfy me, definitely I fail. And this failure is a really meaningful, pleasurable failure that I only can realize what the truth, what the reality of the existence is really signaling me out. And happy to see your hand up. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to thank Colin for his comments, and H. Beza as well. I just wanted to add that I don't know the last time anyone wandered into a bookstore, like Barnes and Noble, and go into the self-help section and see how enormous that section is. It's almost one of the largest in the bookstore. And all of that is, or none of that is related, from what I have observed, to the story of Jonah, peace and blessings be upon him. It's all related to how we can better manage, as Colin said, this cultish belief in materialism, how we can better manage that. And all of those, that whole section could just be replaced with one simple sentence, one simple phrase in Arabic or in English for that matter. There is no God but you, glory be unto you. Indeed, I was among the wrongdoers. With that alone would replace every single one of those books and every single one of those writers, psychologists of the self-help mantra. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. Exactly. Unfortunately, helpless people trying to find out help from themselves, as H. Beza and Colin emphasized on it. So we would like to hear Colin's comment now.
It's just a very quick rejoinder to Anne there. She made a really excellent point about self-help books. Self-help books have been around for 60, 70 years. And if they were really helping, why are they still writing them? It's the premise with self-help books is that we have something in our being which belongs to us, which we can either improve or augment or increase. So, the premise is that we have certain perfections in us, which may be a little bit deficient and they can be improved on. And it's like trying to tell someone, look, I can make the money that you have in the bank grow when actually you don't have any money in the bank. We don't have any capital, right? So self-esteem, you can become a more charismatic speaker, you can become more beautiful, you can become more wise. We don't have anything that we can perfect in that sense. So the premise is that we own our own attributes. And, I'll tell you how to augment those attributes and make them, better, make them greater, make them more efficient. So the premise is wrong. This is why self-help books never, ever work.
Exactly. But that's why they keep getting repopulated every couple of years with a brand new version. Do this way for happiness. It's just unending
Yeah,
because
it's also to grab the next generation. They have to
oh,
do it when every generation comes round.
certainly,
Indoctrination never ends.
it's just incredible.
Awesome.
H. Beza has a comment in the chat.
Ziba has.
Oh, not H basis, sorry, Ziba, sorry.
Now, would you like to read it, please? Would you like to? Yeah.
Yep, Ziba should read it.
I can read it. Slowly. Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, I just wrote that just to realize that it's a mercy from him to make us realize our neediness, our helplessness. If we, whatever we are doing, if we keep on getting and achieving things, and we don't hit that brick wall, then we start becoming our own gods. And because we think, oh, I'm capable of doing this, and so it's a mercy from him, and it's his. Because of that, like when you are when you hit that brick wall, then you realize that no, I'm not in control, and that's the if you realize it, then I think you are changing your whale into a submarine. That no, he is the one, he's the supreme one, and I need to go back to him. And then you realize your helplessness, and that helplessness and neediness is the blessing. Like our Prophet ﷺ said, fakri, fakri. That's now that becomes your tool to achieve that closeness and that fast track approach to the source and holding on to him, not to your own abilities. And yeah, that was my comment.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you for this reminder. And I have been thinking of this term because these books, these self-help books, are invading Muslim world as well. Unfortunately, because we don't study the Quran, we don't take the Quranic message seriously and try to apply it. If we keep reading the Quran as a history book, full of the horrible, it looks horrible, the rebellions of the people against the rejectors of the prophets, against the prophets, rejecting the prophetic message. And when we read all these narrations from in the Quran as stories of ancient prophets, and no one knows who they are and where they lived, no one knows it. So they don't read it, the message in their narrations, narratives. Then they have to find out this oxymoron language, self-help books. It's so ridiculous. I am the one who needs help, and I am the one who's going to help myself. So incredible, incredible. Look at this oxymoron.
Totally an oxymoron, yeah.
I am the one who I see when I see this kind of books reading, or some people in the subway in New York. So most of the people almost spend 1 or 2 hours in the subway. So millions of people. So some of them read this of them. This person needs help. That's why he needs self-help. So I just love it. But I cannot say anything. It's against the culture. You cannot criticize. Oh, everybody is a small God. So you cannot remind anything, tell anything. Anyways, we understand that the very, very title of these books discloses that needy human beings are trying to get help from themselves. And as H. Beza and Colin explained and beautifully stated, as long as we don't acknowledge that we need help and present it to the one who can provide it, look at the universe. Can you provide my needs of the feelings of my heart? It's a matter. So it cannot be the creator of my feelings. It cannot be the one who provides the satisfaction to the needs of my spirit, my heart, my feelings. So I have to look for the creator of these needs that he can provide it. So rather than calling or really looking at a book which says the creator, oh human being, the creator of you has sent you a manual book how to help yourself by listening or utilizing the manual book. And manual book refers to the creation, and under the witnessing of the creation said, the one who created it demonstrated his qualities to you, and the one who created you demonstrated his qualities in you as in need of these qualities that you can only hold on to it and save your needs and find out the source of satisfaction for yourself. So needy people must look for the source of it is the existence of it is neediness and see the promise in his being neediness. So we have to get out of this universe and look for the source of the entire universe. Only the one who created me within this universe can provide the answer to my needs. Otherwise, needy people will try to find out help by himself. By himself. It's a ridiculous contradiction that these people are living in. Anyways, we understood that these supplications narrated here is the way that the creator, the speaker, is teaching me. You have to realize this. Though you have to realize that there is no source of existence. There is nothing in this universe can give existence to anything, but only the one who created the universe is giving existence to the entire universe. Then my looking for satisfaction from my egocentric considerations and trusting myself that I will satisfy myself, even you don't know your feelings, where they came from. How can you satisfy it? You poor person. So this is what the Quran is teaching us fundamental. Inshallah, we will continue going into the interpretation of the author, what this way of speech, this analogy is teaching us, inshallah, next week. Or it said that we will, inshallah, continue our discussions that our hearts get satisfaction. And I find the satisfaction in our discussions and on Monday, on Tuesday, and Saturdays, inshallah. Any more comment?
I just want to quickly say that your approach to understanding the Quran is, I don't know how unique it is or how widespread it is to look at the Quran the way we look at it in this class, but I'm extremely grateful that we do look at it the way you guide us, the way Nursey guides us. I'm extremely grateful because I don't know where else I would get this.
We all need it. Thank you very much. We all need it. I need it as well. So Colin says it is the way I should be looked at. And Ali's way is pretty unique in many other aspects. Thank you very much. I'm sorry that let's stop this being, I mean, I feel embarrassed. I am needy. That's why I am here. inshallah. Thank you for joining us. And I think we should end the meeting. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة.